You know what nobody talks about in modern dating? The psychological tension men feel when they meet a woman who already has children. Not because she's bad, not because she's unworthy, but because the male brain runs calculations that most men never speak out loud. It's not morality, it's not judgment, it's instinct, it's economics, it's psychology, and it's brutally honest. When a man meets a single mother, his mind is immediately juggling responsibility, availability, emotional bandwidth, long-term cost, long-term return, and whether he fits into a life that already has moving pieces. He's not questioning her value as a woman, he's questioning whether he fits into the system she already built before he arrived. And most men don't say this publicly because it sounds harsh, but privately it's the same story. Do I have the capacity to invest in a life that started without me, and will continue with or without me? This isn't about criticizing single mothers. Many are extraordinary. It's about understanding the psychology of male investment, the instincts wired into men, and the emotional math that decides whether a relationship feels sustainable or suffocating. And once you understand that, you understand why so many men hesitate, not out of cruelty, but out of self-preservation, the unspoken equation. You know what nobody talks about in modern dating? Not the real truth, not the psychology, not the instincts that guide our choices. People always turn the topic of single mothers into a moral debate. They say, don't judge, or be kind, or love is love. But morality is not the real issue here. The real issue is much deeper, much more human, and much more honest. Here is what actually happens. A man's brain runs a cost-benefit calculation within minutes of meeting a single mother. He does not even do it on purpose. It happens automatically, the same way you know if a room feels safe or not. It is instinct. It is psychology. It is survival. And this calculation is not cruel. It is not saying she is unworthy or less than. It is simply asking a silent question. If I enter her life, what does that life look like for me? A woman without children offers one kind of future, a fresh beginning, a partnership that grows from zero, 100% of her time, her energy, her attention, her emotional space. But with a single mother, the situation is very different. Not bad, not wrong, just different. When a man meets a single mother, he is not just meeting her. He's meeting her children, her schedule, her responsibilities, her past partner, her entire life structure that already exists before he shows up. He asks himself, usually without realizing it, can I fit into this world? Do I have the time, energy, and emotional space for this? And the honest truth is this, for many men, the numbers simply don't add up. Not because she is a bad woman, not because she does not deserve love, but because the investment required from a man is much higher, while the return emotionally, practically, logistically is smaller. A man knows he will never be her first priority again. Her children will always come first, and he respects that. But the emotional reality still hurts. Men want to feel chosen. They want to feel like they matter. They want to feel important in their partner's life. With a single mother, he knows from the start that he will always be second, third, or even fourth behind the kids, the schedule, and the co-parent. So when he meets her, even if he likes her, even if she is beautiful, kind, strong, or loving, his mind quietly asks, is this a life I can handle long term? Is this a future that gives me joy or just responsibility? And for many men, especially those with options, the calculation ends quickly, not with anger, not with judgment, just with clarity. The truth is simple. Most men walk away not because she is lacking, but because the situation demands more than they can realistically give, and that is the unspoken equation of modern dating. Why the male brain hesitates. When a man dates a woman who has no children, his entire investment goes straight into the relationship they build together. Every moment he gives her, his time, attention, energy, resources, all of it contributes to their shared future. It's simple, it's focused, it's two people building one life from the ground up. But when he dates a single mother, the situation changes before the relationship even begins. His investment becomes divided, not because she wants it that way, not because she doesn't care, but because she already has responsibilities that existed long before he arrived. Her children naturally come first. That is what a good mother does. But for a man trying to build a romantic relationship, this creates an emotional reality he cannot ignore. Her schedule is not flexible. Her energy is often limited. Her attention is already pulled in multiple directions. Her routines are shaped around her children, not around him. He's not building a life with her from zero. He is entering a life that is already built, already structured, already full. And instead of co-creating a future, he is being asked to fit into hers. This is where the psychological conflict begins. Men are wired deep in their biology to want to feel chosen first, not sometimes, not when convenient, but instinctively, automatically, emotionally. A man wants to feel like the center of his partner's romantic world, the person she looks toward, leans on and prioritizes. But dating a single mother means one thing he cannot change. He will never be her number one. Her children will always hold that position, as they should. Logically, he understands this. He might even say, "I respect that. I admire that." And he means it. But logic does not erase emotion. Emotionally, he feels something different. A quiet, constant tension. A sense of being second place, no matter how much love is there. A feeling of giving more than he receives. A sense of standing outside a door that he knows will never fully open for him. This tension doesn't show up immediately. It starts small. A cancelled date, a broken plan, a distracted moment. A conversation interrupted by parenting duties. Each time he understands, but understanding does not remove the sting. Over time, the realization grows. He is a guest in her world, not the core of it. And even though he respects her responsibility, the male brain hesitates, not out of cruelty but out of instinct. Men want to build, they want to create something new, they want to feel essential, not optional. But with a single mother, his role is not foundational, it is additional. And deep inside, he feels the weight of that truth, a truth that never fully disappears, the permanent triangle. Now let's talk about the part of dating single mothers that every man feels deeply but almost no man ever says out loud, the ex. In normal relationships, an ex is simply someone from the past, a closed chapter, a name that fades over time. But when children are involved, the ex is not a past historian. He is a permanent presence. He is not an ex-partner in the true sense. He is a co-parent, which means he is forever connected to her life through the children they share. And that connection creates a reality no new man can escape. Because co-parenting means he will call, he will text, he will be involved in decisions, he will show up at events, schools, emergencies, birthdays. He will always be in the background, whether he is responsible or irresponsible, present or absent, stable or chaotic. There is always a doorway open for him, not emotionally as a lover, but practically as a father. And a man dating a single mother knows this. He doesn't fear the ex as a romantic threat. He fears something far more difficult. The permanent triangle, the emotional triangle, the communication triangle, the logistical triangle, the unbreakable structure that he must step into, a structure that existed long before he arrived. Because no matter how loving she is, no matter how much she cares for her new partner, a simple truth remains. He is entering a world built by two people before him, their memories, their routines, their history, their shared decisions, their mistakes, their bond through the children. He can try to act like none of this bothers him, he can say he's mature, he can say he's confident, he can say he understands, but deep inside, every man feels the discomfort of sharing space with the shadow of someone who came before him and will remain in the story forever. He knows that if her ex calls about the kids, she must answer. If her ex makes a mistake, she must deal with it. If her ex has an opinion about the children, she must consider it. And the new man must accept all of it without complaint, without control, without ever having the final say. It's not jealousy. It's not insecurity. It's not weakness. It's the natural stress of knowing you're not building a clean, open chapter. You are joining a book that already has several chapters written by another man. And no matter how hard he tries, he cannot remove that third presence. He cannot avoid it. He cannot compete with it. He cannot change it. He must live with it. And for many men, that permanent triangle is enough to make them step back, not because the woman is unworthy, but because the situation demands a level of emotional strength most men cannot sustain long term. The baggage that has more baggage. Every person has some emotional weight from their past, but a single mother often carries extra layers of it, layers that affect any new relationship. 1. Emotional baggage. She may still have emotional wounds from her last relationship. She may struggle with trust, fear getting hurt again, or worry about repeating the same mistakes. 2. Financial baggage. Raising a child costs money. There are school fees, medical needs, clothing, activities, and unexpected expenses. These financial responsibilities come before any romantic relationship. 3. Logistical baggage. Her time is not fully her own. There are custody schedules, school routines, pickups and drop-offs, and last-minute babysitter issues. Plans can change suddenly. 4. Judgment baggage. Every man, quietly in his mind, wonders, what happened in her past, and could it happen again? It's not him judging her, it's him trying to protect his own future. Single motherhood doesn't make her bad or broken, it just means her life has more layers, and any man entering it has to understand those layers fully. The biological conflict no one mentions. Now we reach the part that almost no one talks about. The part that feels uncomfortable, the part that society tries to silence. Men have a very old instinct inside them. Older than culture, older than modern dating, older than every rule society made. It's the instinct to continue their own bloodline. A man can care for another man's child. He can protect them, support them, and treat them with kindness. Many men even become amazing stepfathers. But somewhere deep in the oldest part of his brain there is a voice that whispers, "These are not your children." This voice is not cruel, it is biological. It is psychology. And this creates a conflict most men never explain. Because when a man loves a single mother, he gives his time, effort, money, and emotional energy to children that are not his. He doesn't complain, he doesn't want praise, but that inner voice, that quiet biological truth, never fully disappears. And the conflict grows deeper when she is done having kids, or she's too tired or stressed to think about more, or her financial reality can't support another child, or she simply doesn't want to start over again. This puts the man in a silent emotional trap. He may lose the chance to ever have a child of his own, not because she is bad, not because he doesn't love her, but because life already demanded so much from her that she can't give more. And here is the truth no one wants to say. Many men break quietly under this pressure. They don't talk about it, they don't cry about it, they just carry the pain inside. The pain of loving a family, but never having one that carries his own blood. The pain of giving everything, but losing the one thing nature wired him to want. Some men stay and accept this fate, some leave because the conflict becomes too heavy, and some stay physically but disconnect emotionally, because they don't know how to solve this ancient feeling inside them. This is not judgment, this is not blame. This is human biology and psychology clashing with modern life. A man can love her deeply. He can be loyal, caring, protective, and supportive. But when he realizes he may never have his own child, something inside him shifts. Not out of selfishness, but out of instinct. And that unspoken instinct is the secret reason so many men hesitate, pull back, or stay confused when dating a single mother. It's not that he doesn't love her, it's that he fears losing the one thing nature designed him to desire from the beginning of human history, a future that carries his own blood. The step-parent trap. Now let's talk about what I call the step-parent trap, the silent, invisible reality that almost no man voices aloud. When a man decides to commit to a single mother, he is not entering a normal relationship, he is entering a paradox, a situation full of responsibilities, but almost none of the rights he naturally expects. Here's what it looks like. He becomes the helper, the one who fixes things, who picks up the slack, who shows up when needed. He becomes the investor. Time, energy, money, he gives it freely, sometimes generously, toward a family he did not create. He becomes the stabilizer. He makes sure the household runs smoothly, the kids are supported, the logistics managed, and the emotional weight carried. Yet despite all of this, he has no authority. He can suggest rules, guide behavior, offer advice, but at the end of the day, he is not the father. He is not the legal guardian. His voice is only considered optional or helpful at best. And let's be honest, the children will never fully see him as their dad. They may respect him, even love him, but biological ties are deeper than affection, and they instinctively know that someone else holds the permanent position in their lives. Now here's the part that breaks most men quietly. He knows deep down that his role is temporary. No matter how much he gives, how much he sacrifices, how much he invests, he can be removed from this family at any moment. Divorce, separation, a fight, a choice from the mother. He has no legal or biological connection to guarantee permanence. All he has is goodwill, trust, and emotional investment, and those are fragile in this world. This is why so many men feel a silent tension in these relationships. They try to act confident, patient, and strong, but deep inside a fear simmers. What if everything I've built, everything I've given, can disappear overnight? And that fear is not irrational. It's based on real stories, on real experiences. Men who poured years into a family, only to be cut off when the mother returned to the biological father, or chose a new path that didn't include him. This is the core fear men never say out loud. It's not about loving the woman less. It's not about hating the kids. It's about understanding the precarious position they've chosen, a position where they give everything but hold nothing permanent. And it's why so many quality men hesitate, or withdraw slowly over time, or set invisible boundaries that seem cold because survival instincts are stronger than romance. The step-parent trap is the reality of investing deeply in a life you are never fully part of. It's the paradox of love without security, of giving without guarantee, of building a bond that can be taken away with a single decision. Few men can endure it fully without resentment. Few men can remain 100% invested without losing pieces of themselves. And most men at some point recognize it. They realize that loving her children is not the same as having a family of their own. They realize they are playing a long game with rules they cannot control, and that realization changes everything. It changes patience into frustration. It changes sacrifice into quiet bitterness. It changes hope into a constant underlying anxiety. This is why dating a single mother is not just a relationship. It is an education in emotional labor, responsibility, and personal boundaries. It is a test of how much a man can give and how much he can risk without the safety net of biology or authority. This is the step-parent trap. It's invisible, it's relentless, and it's the silent truth behind every committed man who walks this path. Why men walk away. From the outside, it may seem like men avoid single mothers because they are cold, selfish, or afraid of commitment. Society tells women that men just don't want responsibility, or can't handle a real woman with kids. But the truth is much simpler, and far more human. Men avoid situations where they know the odds are stacked against them. It's not a judgment on her as a person. It's not about her being less than or flawed. It's about the system he's being asked to enter, a system that was built long before he arrived and that will continue if he leaves. When a man dates a single mother, he's not just dating a woman. He's entering a pre-existing family ecosystem, children with their own schedules, personalities and needs, an ex who will always be part of the equation, and financial, emotional, and logistical responsibilities that come with all of it. Every day he gives effort, attention, and love, but the structure of the relationship ensures that he can never be first. No matter how much he sacrifices, no matter how much he invests, her children, her ex, and her obligations will always take priority. And here's the part that men feel but rarely say aloud. He can pour himself into this relationship and still lose. Men are wired to want reciprocity, progress, and purpose. They are wired to want a family that is theirs, not borrowed, not conditional, not temporary. When a relationship cannot provide that, when the system ensures he will always be second, he slowly recognizes the truth. This is not a win, it's not cruelty, it's clarity. The problem is that society misinterprets this choice. It sees the exit and assumes selfishness, or that he wasn't man enough to step up. But stepping away can be the most logical, rational, and emotionally intelligent decision a man can make. He avoids futures where he cannot fulfill his biological and emotional purpose. He avoids investments that will never yield the returns he naturally seeks: reciprocity, authority, connection, and the chance to have his own children. He avoids becoming the invisible support system for a life he can never fully own. This is why men walk away from relationships with single mothers. It's not about laziness, fear, or lack of love. It's about self-respect, survival, and clarity. It's about seeing the math before the heartbreak and understanding the invisible rules of a system that was never designed for him. Men aren't running from responsibility. They're running toward a future that matches their instincts, biology, and desire for fulfillment. And when that future cannot coexist with the reality of dating a single mother, the choice becomes obvious. Walking away is not betrayal. It's not cruelty. It's understanding the truth that society refuses to acknowledge. You cannot build a full life where the foundations were built for someone else. And that is the real reason men leave. The final realization. Before we end, let's be very clear. This video is not about shaming single mothers. Many single mothers are incredible women. Strong, resilient, loving, and extraordinary. They face challenges that most people cannot even imagine, and they navigate life with courage and grit. This is not about judging them. This is not about labeling them as hard to date or less desirable. What this is about is male psychology. It's about how men's brains work when it comes to dating and relationships. It's about the silent, subconscious calculations that happen the moment a man meets a single mother. Every man, whether he admits it or not, is running a cost-benefit analysis. He measures what he must give, time, energy, money, attention, emotional support, against what he will realistically get in return. Love, respect, priority, the chance to build his own family. And the truth is, in many cases, the numbers don't add up. It's not because the woman is less than or because men are shallow. It's because the system already exists before he arrives. Her life is built around her children, her schedule is packed, her ex is still involved, and her energy is finite. The man is asked to invest deeply into something that is partially pre-owned, and that is not easy for anyone's brain to reconcile. Men are biologically wired to want reciprocity, influence, and a chance to pass on their own genes. It's instinctive. It's primal. It's built into the way male psychology works across time and cultures. When a man realizes that he cannot ever be first, that his investment will always be shared, that his emotional energy may never be fully returned, he faces a choice. And this is where honesty comes in. Walking away is not cruelty, it is clarity. It is self-respect. It is understanding the truth of a system before you pour your life into it. For single mothers, this can be painful to hear, and that is understandable, because it challenges cultural myths and romantic ideals. But understanding this reality is not about shaming anyone. It's about truth in the dating marketplace. The honest takeaway is this: men are not failing to step up. They are learning to step back from bad deals. They are recognizing that giving 100% when only 30% is reciprocated is unsustainable. And they are choosing a path that aligns with their biological, emotional, and psychological needs. This doesn't make men heartless. It doesn't make them incapable of love. It makes them realistic, self-aware, and honest with themselves. And honesty is the foundation of freedom. When a man is honest with himself, he can make choices that protect his energy, his goals, and his future. When a woman understands this dynamic, she can see dating through the lens of reality, not idealism. It's not about blame. It's not about shame. It's about understanding the invisible rules of modern dating and the quiet calculations that happen in the male mind. So the final realization is this: dating is not always fair. Life is not always equal, but knowing the truth allows both men and women to make better, smarter, and more honest decisions. Respect yourself, understand the system, and choose wisely, because in the world of modern dating, honesty is power, clarity is freedom, and self-respect